so the kind of the start by believing, supporting, thank you, all of that, that's great, yeah. Did you have one? I keep seeing you do this, so it's looking like you're raising your hand.
No, it's okay.
Now you have to answer.
Okay. Well, my thought was basically the same of like making sure that they feel safe is the first thing, but especially because in this case, if it gets an acquaintance, and making sure also like, you know, if they express feelings about that acquaintance, to make sure that they feel safe around that person, even though they might not have been that person that was involved.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Do you feel safe is a great question. It's a pretty broad statement, and you get to the heart of it, which is our safety concerns, our eminent safety concerns are usually first that we want to take care of. So if somebody says, no, I don't feel safe, you know, this kicks into a high gear, because it's what do we need to do to protect safety right now. You know, this from this general scenario, it kind of looks like it happened off campus, but we don't know that. These people could actually live in the same space. They could, you know, be interacting. They could, it could be something that the person, you know, doesn't feel safe in their immediate environment. And eventually, when we get to probably with your hall director in that conversation, there's going to be a question of whether somebody needs medical care. And that's always another immediate question that we ask if it seems like there may have been an assault. It's not for the reason that we often think, which is like we go straight to like evidence collection, and that's important, but it's also just to make sure that somebody is physically okay. You know, if your body's been involved in a trauma, your body may not be okay. So you may need to go and get some medical assistance for whatever that trauma looks like. So that's another immediate question that's usually asked. And providing options and resources, depending on what that person chooses to do with those options. You know, they may choose to go see a counselor in CCS. So if they make that connection, one really great thing is that our counselors in CCS know how to cross-refer. So if they're talking to a counselor, that person has a privilege. They cannot share anything that's involved in that conversation unless there's a threat of imminent harm to that person or other people. But generally what they would do is say, do you want assistance in getting connected to somebody else? So they may be able to help move along through different phases. Or that person may say, no, I just want to talk to you, and then that's all that they need. But once they're in one part of the pipeline, then we make sure that everybody's connected and can get them to all the rest. Even in the community, I will say that. We have a great partnership with SARNCO. So they will cross-refer. Somebody calls their crisis line and says, I'm an OSU student, I want to know how to help get connected to the institution. They know how to do that, and so they'll refer them back. Even CPD does that. We have an MOU with CPD where if they find out that a crime has been reported and it's an OSU student, they refer them to campus for resources in addition to community, which is cool. What other things? As I look for the other thing. Ah, that's a good one. I know when you finish reading because your face goes, so most people made the other face. What are the concerns and where do you go from here?
My first concern is like, is this like a repeated action? Like, have you done this before?
Yeah. Would be worse if it had happened, but what if it's the first time you've done this? Is it still a problem? Yeah, gross. I mean, this is you overhearing. Oh, yeah.
I'd probably go out and check on the OA, see if they're comfortable in the situation, because if it's the first time happening, then I definitely would not work for them, just to be there for my support.
Yeah.
And then maybe tell your health director.
Yeah.
I think another concern is to make sure the OA isn't a part of that plan. You don't want someone on staff that
Yeah, maybe watching the reaction, is it a yay or a ew face? If it's a yay face, then yeah, we may have a different problem.
I think people are alluding to this, but you need to talk to the resident who's talking about this. We can't ignore the fact that a resident is talking about going to a party and assaulting people by getting them drunk. So, like confronting that, the OA doesn't, obviously the OA doesn't have the extensive training in this room that you would have. So like that would be a situation where like it makes sense for you to go and intervene in that situation, address that resident, make sure that like, are you kidding? Because if you are, that's not funny, and if you aren't, you need to get connected to this person, that's the way, either way. So, like, intervening in that situation, because I doubt, I would feel comfortable like saying, well, actually, like, that's not, like, I know as an OA, especially your first receiving in OA, like, that's something that really dealt with, like people had training that was extensive about,
Yeah.
so.
Be direct about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have to be, because like, that's how like rape culture has gotten so pervasive, is because we assume people are joking, or like, we'll push this kind of thing off as like part of just the college culture when it really isn't, and it's a big problem. And so like, if we don't de-escalate the situation, especially like in these opportunities where clearly they haven't, well, this doesn't really give us any backstory, but like, this hasn't happened yet. This is like, they're planning on doing it, which gives us an opportunity to make sure that doesn't happen. It's not like, last night I was at a party, got all these people drunk and whatever. It's like, you have the opportunity to make it not happen. And like, it's really required that you do that and intervene.
I think a great point is that no one really wants to think that anybody has this intention. And for the most part, the research that we have says that most people don't have this intention, but there are some that do. So if that's a, if everyone going to this party thought it was a joke, but a couple people didn't, that's just as big of a problem. I mean, that we have, that would even be kind of a joke scenario. And this may or may not be ripped from the headlines, so it's not surprising that we see things like this happen. So how would you, I mean, you're overhearing this. Thankfully you are, because if not, it would be up to the OA to recognize that they probably need to report this, right? So you overheard it. How do you have that conversation?
I think what I kind of said, like, are you, because like there's two ways, because they could be joking. If they're joking, call them out, so that's not okay. Like, that's perpetuating a lot of other problems on campus, and it's not, assault isn't funny, and getting people drunk and assaulting them is not a joke, so don't do it. If they aren't joking, or if it seems like they might have been serious, that might be a point. I don't know if like some sort of, like, I don't really know where it goes from there, because that first one I think is a lot easier to have that conversation where it's like you can just shut that down. And it's like, if they are joking, like educate them on why it's not okay, but like then if they're being serious, I don't actually know someone has a suggestion of where to go.
One follow-up question. If they said, oh yeah, totally, come on, I'm not seriously doing that, probably the more likely answer, right? Then yes, I was just intending to rape people.
Right.
So if they said, no, I'm totally kidding, would you still report it?
Probably, yeah. Or at least follow up with, like, get their name and follow up with Pollard and let them know that this happened.
And the reason that I say that is because the wealth of information that we now have in our database of all the reports that have been shared over the last couple of years, even though we want more things to be reported, the things that are reported, we have a lot of requirements under law to document the things that are coming in. So we have a giant database full of all this stuff that's been told to us, and we can make some connect the dots sometimes. So somebody in this scenario saying, oh, that's totally a joke, we could put their name in the database and figure out that's not a joke, actually, that was something that was reported connected to this person last year or a week ago, and you never know. It's amazing what that collection of information can actually do. So yes, I agree.
This is a question, I guess, to Jen and Jonathan. Would that be like an IR that you would want filled out if like you're RM for that conversation, that what you guys would want as all directors? That's up to you, but just to make sure.
The other thing too with this situation is if you get enough information as to like where this party might be, is to also call the police and let them know that this is happening.
And like, as far as like reporting to Title IX, is that more like our responsibility after filing an IR, or do y'all do that after you've met with the person and read that?
Yeah, great question. So for those of you who are familiar with our system, we have a system where we report all incidences. It's our incident report program. And so if you are not familiar with using it, I'm sure your hall director would train you on it at some point. Where you fill out the report, there's a box on the initial screen to check for Title IX. Chances are you probably have already called us, talked to us, and I will probably tell you to go ahead and check the Title IX box. Because even if we're not sure, we may just check it and then follow up with it. And then we do stuff on our back end with our supervisors, and then we will make sure through the system and what we do that Kelly is also aware. So then, you know, her and Molly can decide whether or not it is Title IX or not.
Yeah, the checkbox is hugely helpful because we actually have reports that we can run based on everything that was checked under that box. So I can just click a button and run this report and be like, oh, all these new things came in yesterday. So it's great. I mean, the technology we have now is awesome, but still miss some things. So I mean, these are things that you would be in a position to possibly hear and observe and see that a lot of people aren't. I mean, I'm not there. And so it just really comes back to you to kind of think about the things that we talked about and hear things with your ears and your lens that, you know, and your experience that students may not have, and they're not seeing or understanding things in that way.
I think it's also a good case study to emphasize the point that you can have OA staffs trained in Title IX too, and you should feel comfortable having your OA not necessarily be responsible for de-escalating that type of situation, but they should have some kind of clued in knowledge to then report to you kind of thing, or to the hall director. It seems like for OAs to not go through some kind of Title IX training.
They do.
I know they do
Yeah.
at some point, but
Yeah.
for them to be totally clueless in this situation, the whole thing,
Well,
balances on you overhearing it in your office,
that's
is
true.
problematic.
We hope that that's the fail-safe, that you just happen to be walking by and overhearing this, but, always, that's why they do go through training. They're all required to be trained as well, and we do an hour with them, which it's always, those are always good conversations, because again, they're there, they're seeing and hearing all this stuff, so in a really good position to be more informed.
I think sometimes it's easy for them, and I don't remember what the other ones are, but for them to also not realize, because they're talking to friends of theirs, that they meet, by working at the front desk, or it's the resident that always comes and chats with them and doesn't leave the front desk. I think it's easy for them not to start connecting the dots that maybe this isn't okay. And I think that's where I think you're right. The more that you can kind of have these conversations and build relationships with them, so that if it starts to feel like this might not be okay, that they're able to come tell you. Because there have been lots of situations where somebody has come and they have felt uncomfortable with the person being at the desk all the time chatting with them because they won't leave, and they're stuck there, but they don't necessarily bring it to your attention right away because they don't realize that it's not okay for them to experience that.
Same thing with the touching and hugging and all that kind of stuff too. That happens not just in student context, but in workplace settings all the time. People have different boundaries, and sometimes it's cultural, sometimes it's just your environment that you grew up in, close talkers versus not in your family. So a lot of it is just kind of re-education about you have to respect and understand other people's boundaries. But if it's not something that we want anyone to have to experience for a long time, and for it to actually become a big deal, we want to try to get people to recognize it and report it right away, because the earlier it is, the easier it is to deal with.
And I would imagine too, I might have these, or I'm sure you would share them.
Mm-hmm.
These might be good pieces for you to also, use during training with your OAs, and you could actually have them work through some of these case studies about what they would do if something were to kind of happen.
Yeah, there's like 3 more. There's one about a whiteboard. I mean, these would be, I think, good training tools for you. I'll send you the slides.
Okay.
So you have them. And yeah, if there are things that come up, absolutely feel free to contact me. And you have a network too that you can always rely on. But if there are things that you're unsure about as you're going on, just let me know. Send me an email. Don't call me. I'm never in my office. Honestly. That's okay though. Yeah, other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Actually, do you want to save on
Yeah,
yours
I'll
and
just
then-
save it and
Yeah,
then I'll
that's easy.
take it
Cool.
too. That's all that we have. So as a reminder, class is canceled for next week, so make sure you update your schedules accordingly. Make sure you're paying attention to the syllabus, and you're getting your staff meeting and your front desk observations done, because those will be sneaking up on you in the next week or so. And then for the groups that formed today, I need you before you leave to tell me your topic for your group as well. So, otherwise, have a great night.